These instinctual movements are very important because these good habits will help you a lot in these big slaughter fights. It can make a significant difference in your gameplay. Now, this fight, the way it works is you've got very limited ammo out here in the main playing space, and either way, it's in the center. All this crap is going to get in the center, and you're not going to be able to reach it. But the idea is to step in this alcove, grab some cells, and step back out at some point. And the thing about this is let's say the cyber is standing here. He shoots a rocket at this trajectory. I'm strafing around. I'm here. He shoots. Now I step in, I step back out. I'm going to catch that rocket that way. Or, God forbid, I got Cyrus here. I step in and I want to go this way. That's absolutely not going to work. You have to commit to moving in a general circle. Maybe not just the simple circle strafing, like circle strafe to win, but you got to commit to still strafing around so you don't run into the trajectory of all those rockets that were behind you. So there's that. Now, let's say you do step in here and you know that he shot at you. So what do? Now you got two options. One, you could stay in here and wait for that rocket to pass by, and this is a judgment call. So you know, how far away is that cyber demon? Was he shooting like his first volley? Was it an infighting rocket? Do you have archviles in there putting a ton of pressure on you? There's a lot of factors that go into it, but in general, if the cyber demon is closer to you, I would say it's better off to stay in there, let one rocket pass by, and then step out. But maybe you have the opposite case. Maybe the cyber demon is all the way far away. You circled around here. When you got to this point, the cyber shot at you, and you could potentially get in there and get out before that rocket reaches you, right? You're here, the rocket may be like halfway, step in and out real quick. The rocket is still kind of close to you, but it hasn't reached you quite yet, so you can still make it out of there before the rocket reaches you. And that's just the judgment call that you're gonna have to do whenever you got a cyber demon situation and you need to change directions for whatever reason. Now also, let's say now I'm going to be pushing through these revs, right? By the time I get here, they should be reasonably far away from the wall, but as I get in there, I'm going to be surrounded by revs. And you know, if you're concerned that you might get stuck and instantly die, you can do two things. First of all, you really need to not turn around. That's the first thing to remember. You really need to not turn around because there's a good chance that you got cyber demon rockets trailing behind you. So it's best to just commit to that circular motion. Even if you take a ton of damage from the revs, at least it's not a cyber demon rocket. And the way I think of this is that's the damage that you're taking on purpose. You know that the cyber demon rockets can and will hit you, but you also know that the revs can do variable damage to you while punching. Well, it's better to just push through the revs, just dodge the thing that you know. So anyway, that's one thing you can do. And another thing you can do is if you got all that space here, you ran in, but then they all closed in on you, you could try the back and forth, like baiting their melee attack. You can try that for sure while you're in this corner, and maybe you'll save yourself 2 punches. It could have been a 60 and a 54. You saved 114 damage by just doing the baiting their melee attacks a couple times while your BFG is charging. So anyways, to put it all together, let's go ahead and try out the fight. That's interesting. We had a wall of cybers and an infighting rocket. And a good time to grab those cells was there when the meat shields were still going. So there were just a ton of revs blocking all the rockets. Take that opportunity, 100%. Go get some cells. Alright, now I'm out of cells and I need to kill these cybers, right? These cybers are pretty close. And they're going to be in view of me the entire time I'm grabbing those cells. That is absolutely no time to be grabbing those cells because I'm going to be stepping in and out the entire time I'm in the range of those rockets. I'm going to be going full speed into a rocket, like a head-on collision there, and that's not what we want. So I would probably pull these guys over in this direction a little bit, get in and screw it up, and then have to do it again. So like that. And I didn't give myself enough ammo. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, so just mainly to review, it's just try to commit to those circular motions. No matter what, like if there's a lot of revs, just try to get in there. If you want to grab those cells, don't grab them and then come back this way. Those cybers could have been shooting that entire time and I could have eaten it right there. And then when it comes to revs, try to bait their melees if you are stuck like that. And yeah, that's a good start. Another thing is I'm gonna go ahead and shrink down the size of this room. Well, I'm gonna do this whole thing with revs. Actually, before I shrink down the size of this room, I want to show you an instinctual movement around revs. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of those cybers for demonstration purposes. And make this line monster blocking. Oh, guys, it feels so good to do monster block lines. Look at that. I control where the enemies go. Anyway, let's say you're playing the map. You're in a big slaughter fight. Come around here, 50,000 arch files, and you cannot go in that direction at all. You need to turn around, but you know that there's a lot of revs in the fight. You have rev missiles behind you. You need to do this little step back. Right, you're coming around here, you're gonna do a little step back, and you're gonna go around the missiles every time. But if when you're a beginner in fights like this, you're gonna come in, you're gonna see, oh, this is bad, turn around, and you catch all of that. Right, now, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of a lot of the revs, and I'm gonna shrink down the size of this corridor so I can demonstrate this a lot better. This is pretty tough, so there's probably gonna be some variable results, but I'm gonna try to focus as best as I can for this. Now, for these revs, I see a lot of people try to do just like this circular motion with the revs, but the problem with that is you got a crisscross of homing and non-homing missiles. Plus, right here, you're in their range for the non-homing missiles. You step here and you step back in, you're in the range one more time and you can catch it like that. Alright? So a better way is to try to I set it up well. So try to mimic that that motion there where you're doing the sort of U shape. Try to mimic it in this small space as best as you can. In general, it is very hard to dodge revenants with when you're bfging because of how many of them stun at once and how many of them will shoot and just sort of just cover the whole wall in front of you with missiles. Oh, my old practice save. The next couple things I want to talk about is when to speed up your movement and when to slow down your movement. So when it comes to slowing down your movement, right, the whole thing about these slaughter fights is you're controlling enemies' AI. They're going to be going toward you in the map, like most likely, like most of the time, you know, unless they bump into something or whatever. But what's going to happen is I'm going to have barons closing in on me from the left and right. On the opposite end and on one end, like right behind me, there's going to be revs coming in. Now, I need to delay as long as possible because what's going to happen, I need to circle around the rev. So I need to be on the opposite side for as long as possible to pull the enemies away. But I can't just immediately go to the wall because enemies will hug the wall and I'll die. So I gotta slow down my movement and get just somewhere in between. And you slow down your movement because you want to be constantly moving and still dodging, but you don't want to be against the wall standing still. So let me try to... I hit the fire button and it brought me to the load menu. Anyway, I'm gonna focus. Just slow down as much as possible, and then I got punched through the plasma, so that's awesome. slow, slow, slow. And then, sure enough, that let the revs be really out of the way. But yeah, here again, I'm slowing down my movement so much, and then pushing through, slowing down, and see like how much of a gap I have over here now that I've slowed down my movement in that way. And now these Manx are behind me. I'm gonna slow, 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 pulls them away from this left wall, mostly. I'll have a better chance of getting in there and grabbing the Mega. And then I've developed a tendency of dodging Mank fireballs on my left. When you play this 10,000 times, you learn a few things. Now I've shown you all these extreme examples because if you take even a few of those things and you take them to a map like, oh wait, crap, did that wrong. If you take them to a map like Sunless Map 28, right, then that should be enough to get you through these maps at a reasonable consistency. If you can get all of these sort of awareness things down very well, then it'll help you. So let me show you me applying some of these. Alright, so I'm aware of arch files that can target me, so I kind of want to use this wall here for cover. And then just want to sit here for just a little bit for arch files too. And then look at this. So I want to go in for the soul sphere, and I gotta be, well, I'm gonna skip this one because I'm already too far, but I have to be very quick about it because of the Cyberbeam and rockets, because either I do that, or maybe you did them one phase at a time. You can grab the soul sphere and wait for all the rockets to fly by you. So very quickly and committing to the circular motion, because if I go back, I have the potential of eating rockets. Now you saw that big wall of Cackles over there. The next thing that, oh holy crap, I'm gonna open GL. The next thing that I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna start bfging some pain elementals while hugging the rightmost wall. This is actually to pull those Cackles all the way far away, to pull them toward the center so that I can move around. So I'm gonna be right here. Alright, so now I've pulled the Cackles to the center. Oh, the infighting rockets. In general, if you apply all these good slaughter map habits to your gameplay, along with a lot of other videos, right, it's going to be in conjunction with awareness. You're going to have stuff about two-shotting cyber demons. You put all of that together and it'll improve your game a lot. Of course, the best way is through experience. You're not going to get it on day one. You might lose track of rockets. You lose track of a cyber demon, you know. Whatever, the best you can do is just assume the worst, assume that there's always rockets, and do your best to try to avoid that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace.